catch me on another absolute blinder of a day. Look at this. It's just stunning, isn't it? Oh, love it. So, let's get us on the way. Let's get back on the road. I mean, we're still on the road, aren't we? We haven't left it yet. I've done some silly things on this bike, like go over some really dodgy terrain, but wouldn't take it on dirt bike territory. I'll tell you what, that yellow car just bloody came out of nowhere. Whew. Ah. I'd really like just a normal, happy ride. So even at 30 mile an hour, that wind's pretty whipping on the old helmet here. And by that I mean when the hedges go down, like this little gap here, you can feel the wind just go boop, there you go. I'm still here. Thanks, wind. Muchly appreciated. But for everything else, hey, we're having fun, aren't we? Absolutely having fun. So, the subject that I wanted to tackle today is... Hello, birdie. Cheeky. With all the crap that's been going on recently, with the whole you know what and so on and so forth, it's likely that you've been stuck inside for a while. It's likely that you may not have been able to get out on the bike as much as you'd like to, so you might be a little bit out of practice. Now, I'm not in a position to say what you should and should be doing. I don't think anyone else is either. You know best. You know what you want, you know what you like, so on and so forth. All I can say from my position is bloody do it safely, do it cautiously. Now, upon saying that, if you've not been on the old bike for a while, then you might be slightly out of practice. Well, no, I'll change that. You will be slightly out of practice. So you might be a little bit worried when you get back on that bike, might ya? Just park your ass in that lovely seat and think, ooh, I ain't felt this for a while. Let's go slam it 90 or 100 up the country roads to get back into the shape of things. No, that's not how it should work, really. Look at that. Per my recommendation, and probably a few others as well, your first ride out on that bike should be one of comfort, should be one of exploration. Go up and down a few roads that you know. Get used to it again. I'm not saying go through the whole process of learning how to bloody ride a bike again, because that would just be silly, but be cautious and be bloody careful, because you might be tempted to do some silly stuff which you might have been in practice for before, but all of a sudden you go around that favourite bend at yours and you take that at 50 mile an hour when you should really be doing that at 20 or 30. Suddenly, all out of practice, you might not notice something on the road, or out of practice you might lose balance somehow, and then you're in for a whole world of surprises, aren't you? And if surprises have anything to do with anything on a motorcycle, it's probably going to end up in a painful experience. If not financially, then for yourself. Of course, if you've got all the protective gear, fine, good on you, but is it going to be worth the damage to your bike? Run this scenario in your head. What's more important to you? Taking it easy, having fun, looking at the places around you, if you're that kind of rider, or throwing little Betsy up and down the country lanes at stupid miles an hour and inviting yourself to get into an accident, either by your own accord or by someone else who doesn't see you. It's just, you know, it's not worth it. Come on. Take your time. Take it a little bit easy. Take it safe. Of course, take it safe. So observe your speed limits. Observe your surroundings. Just take into consideration what's actually going on around you, your mirrors, all that kind of stuff. And you know, just put all your gear on and just look left and right. Get used to having that helmet on your head again, because it's going to feel a lot different if you haven't had it on for a month, I can tell you that much. Now, I'm not going to start saying do yoga, with all your bloody heavy equipment on, but if you're into that kind of thing, why not? Get a feel for what you can and can't do, how far you can stretch with all that stuff on you. When you come into a situation where suddenly you need all that gear to protect you and you need your mind working at 100% to get you around that corner, if you're out of practice, could be a bit of trouble. It's basically all I wanted to say. I've got a habit of saying what I want to say in such a short amount of time. I've got nothing to do with the rest of the video, so if you got any experiences, or if you've recently just got back on the bike, you know, let me know what bike you've got as well. It's always good to know. It's always fun. So, oh yeah, I rode one of those, or oh yeah, what do you think about that? I was thinking upgrading or downgrading, if you know, depending on who you are, what you are. Got to entertain the kids in you. Oop. Oh, down she goes. Kind of ties in nicely with what I'm saying as well. Little lass falls over. Yeah, that's going to be painful when your hand touches the tarmac, isn't it? The old pavement. Yeah. Think of how fast she was walking. Not very fast. Can you imagine doing that 20 mile an hour? Ooh, suddenly it becomes very painful, doesn't it? As one of my instructors said to me when I was a wee whippersnapper, compared to what I am now anyway, on a motorcycle, he says, wear gloves, always wear gloves. Helmet, obvious, but wear gloves. Because if your hand touches that road and you're doing a decent amount of speed, guess what hits the road first? The skin. And I don't know about you, but humans, soft and squishy. You may think you can go around in a leather jacket without a helmet on, or one of those skull cap things, and if you come off that bike, oh, it's just going to be a few scrapes, don't worry about it. No. You know, if you've seen some of the accidents which happen, if you've seen some of the photos, and there are some nasty so-called scrapes out there. And that's not just a scrape, I can tell you that much. I watched a Red Bull soapbox race, and some guy was going down there in like a suit or something. Of course, he came straight out that soapbox around one of those corners. He was doing a decent amount of speed, fell off, slid down the road, and when he got up, his elbow, that was not a comfortable sight. It was fine. Got back in the soapbox, went back down the hill again, you know, as you do. Good on him. But you know that's going to be painful once the adrenaline rolls off. That's not a comfortable experience. So if you want to avoid that personal damage to yourself or your motorcycle, I don't want Jelly Bean getting scratched. Of course not. I want to look after this bike. I want to look after myself. And saying that, I want to look after all the protective equipment that I've got as well. How can I do that? By being extra careful. How can I be extra careful? By not being a nonce getting back on the bike for the first time. But each to their own. If you want to go out and be a nonce, as I state it, then you go out and be a nonce. That's entirely your prerogative. But let me remind you, our healthcare services would rather you didn't. Not because it's nice when people actually take responsibility for their actions and be careful, but when they're under a certain amount of pressure to get a certain thing sorted out because it's a major issue worldwide at the moment, and then you go up and down the country lanes, knock yourself off, and then you've suddenly got to be put into an intensive care unit, it's kind of on you, isn't it? A bit more of a critical video today, isn't it? Ooh, don't know about that, but if I don't say it, or if YouTubers don't say this kind of thing, chances are people are just going to go out and do it regardless. And I've always held that sort of position. I've always held that kind of idea, or ideology. I can't even say the ideal. Ideology. I've always kept... I can do words good, I promise. No, I can't. I've always kept that frame of mind of, if I say something and it just reminds someone of something, or they just suddenly think, oh, I watched that video recently where that guy said that. If that makes someone think, and if that makes someone avoid an accident, then bloody hell, that gets me chuffed. Of course, if you don't have the accident, that's even better. But if you have the accident and you think, I saw that video where that British pillock was yabbering on about this, I didn't listen, I took it into my own hands, I lost the bet, didn't I? I did something stupid, and now I suffer as a result from it. Like I say, each to their own. Do as you will, ride how you will, just be careful, because I don't know about anyone else, but I don't want to see a fellow biker come off because of a silly reason, such as being out of practice. But I don't want to see a biker come off anyway, so everything in regards to that. I think I'll end the video here with a lovely view and a bloody wind picking up as well. So have yourselves a lovely weekend. As always, enjoy. Now, you are your own individual. Like and subscribe is down there only if you choose to. And as always, ta for now.